Hey student, how much time should you listen every day? That's what you're going to find out in this video. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on another lesson. If it's your first time here, consider subscribing because from Monday to Friday, I post all kinds of English lessons, grammar, phrasal verbs, vocabulary, idioms, listening tips, speaking tips, study tips, because I want to make sure that you become a better and more confident English speaker. So consider subscribing to my channel. Anyways, my friends, today we are going to talk about listening. Let's dive into the content because I don't have much time. I'm sorry I was a bit late. I was fixing a few things in my computer, but now I'm ready. So how much time should you listen every day? And why am I making this video? Well, basically because I get a lot of feedback from you guys. You guys share your experiences with me. You tell me a bit about your routine. So I thought that it was time that I made some kind of video this week about listening because many English learners get a little bit confused when it comes to how much time you should be studying, how much listening you should be listening. So that's what my focus is tonight, okay? Awesome. So, first, you need to understand the real importance of listening in English because many English learners they are misled to believing that listening is the key to English fluency. That all you got to do is hit the play and there you have it. Now, listening alone is not what will bring you fluency, but it will help you in the process of getting there. So you need to understand the real importance of listening. It's not what will make you fluent, but it's part of the process of helping you become fluent. So these are very different things. One thing is to believe that fluent listening is the key. Another is understanding the importance of listening in the process of becoming fluent, because this alone is not the key at all. I'm studying another language and my listening is pretty good. Does that mean that, hey, I just need to keep listening and I'll become fluent? Not at all. That's not the case, okay? So, an important thing, and moving on to the next slide, that you need to consider is okay, listening is not the key to fluency. All right, teacher, I got it. I need to include listening in my process for achieving English fluency. Okay, got it. Now, you need to establish a strategic routine. And when I say strategic, it's not just hitting the play and going to work, driving, listening to English audios at the gym or at the park while you run. There's no strategy behind that. So if you are doing that and you feel like your listening skills are not improving, it's probably because you don't have any strategy when you listen to English audios, okay? Awesome. Now, to make it a strategy, to make your listening routine strategic, you need to connect the audios that you listen with the lessons you are currently studying. Now, I want to believe that everybody, am I speaking too fast? Okay, I will slow down. I was having a hectic day, so that's probably why I'm speaking too fast. Okay, so slow down, Priscilla, slow down. Yes, okay. So I like to believe that my students, people who watch my channel, you are my student. If you are watching this lesson, it means you are my student. So I like to believe that you have a study routine. I like to believe that you study lessons, not just watch random videos. I like to believe that you have that, okay? Having lessons is important. So you need to connect the listening practice with the lessons you are having, with the lessons you are studying. And when I say lessons, it could be a series of things. Maybe this week you have established that you will study vocabulary. Maybe this week you have established that you will study grammar. What did you establish this week for your study time? And based on your study goals for that week, on the exercises that you're going to do, on the practice that you're going to have, you will connect that with the listening. So the subjects you study on that week need to all be connected. And listening is not any different. So that's what I mean by having a strategy. Because let's all be honest, we don't have time to spare. Okay, we don't have time to waste time. So I think that it's very important that when you sit down to study, everything is connected because you will be more productive that way. Okay? Now, how are we going to do that? You are going to decide what you want to learn from your practice. Now, this is important. Many English learners, when they play the button start, they don't really know what they're doing. They just play and they want to understand everything. And if you're doing that, you will improve eventually, but it's a little bit harder. You need to have a clear goal of what you're going to do with that listening practice. So am I going to practice pronunciation? Am I going to practice intonation? Am I going to study vocabulary? Am I going to study comprehension? Am I going to practice shadowing? What do you want to achieve from your practice? For example, as I said, I'm studying another language, and I have listening exercises every day when I study. But every day is different. It's not always the same. So there are some days that my main focus is only pronunciation and intonation. So I work on pronouncing the words correctly, I work on intonation, and I don't care about comprehension because that's not my goal. My goal is to practice pronunciation. Now, on other days, I focus a lot on comprehension. I really try to understand what I'm listening. I write down key words, key phrases. So this is a specific study day. On other days, I practice shadowing. What's that? If I'm listening to a specific audio, I try to imitate the person. I'm not necessarily focusing on specific words, on the pronunciation of specific words, but I try to imitate as much as possible. So this is different. These are different activities. So that's what I mean when I say you have to establish a strategic routine. Because if you just play the audio, you may try to do everything at the same time. Practice shadowing, practice comprehension, practice vocabulary, intonation, pronunciation, and that will make you confused, and you may get the impression that you are not improving because there are so many goals when you start doing the listening exercise that you get lost. You don't know exactly what to do. So that's why I'm telling you, decide what you want to learn from your practice. Okay, it's really important that you establish something before you start doing the exercise. Okay, and I know that how much time that the subject of my video was, how much time should you practice your listening? Well, the time you spend practicing will depend a lot on what your goal is. Okay, so what is your goal with the listening? Are you trying to improve your comprehension? Are you trying to improve your overall intonation and pronunciation? So these are completely different goals. Okay, so I think that's something you need to understand. And when we are studying alone, it's difficult to have like a compass, a north, to have a clear direction. Okay, now what I can tell you from my experience on myself studying alone, helping my students, helping people in my online English program, pronunciation and intonation practice should be daily. So every time, hello, working here. So every time you are practicing listening, you should dedicate a little time to pronunciation and intonation, even if it's just for like 5 minutes. Do a little pronunciation correction and intonation correction, okay? But as I said, it should not be long. It should not be like for like 10, 20, 30 minutes. That's not the goal. Unless you have a lot of time, okay? So some people have a lot of time. So if you do, that's awesome. If you have plenty of time to study, go for it. But that's not the case of many people who follow my channel. So I understand I don't have a lot of time either. I love studying, but I don't have so much time. It's life, okay? So we need to be productive. We need to be strategic. But you need to have intonation and pronunciation day And if possible, when I say daily, I'm referring to the days you study. So if you study 3 times a week, so 3 times a week. If you study 4 times a week, 4 times a week. Okay? Now, for vocabulary and comprehension, you could spend a little more time. It could be every day, not necessarily. It could be 3 times a day, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. It depends on how many times you study, but it doesn't have to be every day you study. It could be 2 days, one day. So if you study 3 times, it could be one specific day for you to work on comprehension, or 2 specific days for you to work on comprehension. And why is that? It can be a little tiring to work on comprehension and vocabulary. So because of that, because it can be a little tiring, I don't recommend you do it to the exhaustion, to the point you get exhausted. That's not what I want from you, okay? But these exercises, they will take a little bit more time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because you need to do more work when you're studying vocabulary, when you're studying comprehension. So you may check the pronunciation, not the pronunciation, but you may check the definition of words. You may check how to pronounce the definition, the words you found that you checked because they're new to you. You may have to write down the things you understood about the text. So this activity takes more time than just practicing intonation, because you're mostly just listening and repeating. With pronunciation, you may check the dictionary as well, but it's a little bit faster because they are usually individual words. You're not checking every single word. Now, with vocabulary and comprehension, you may need more time to do that exercise, okay? Now, as I said, comprehension and vocabulary will take more time because you will need to repeat that process more than the others. Now, the secret to being a successful listener is the repetition, but a strategic repetition. I don't want you finding long audios, 1 hour podcasts. That's ridiculous, okay? I don't listen to 1 hour podcasts to study. Why should you? Unless you want, okay? If you enjoy, of course, go for it. But that's not the goal, okay? So when I say work on vocabulary and comprehension, do it for about 20, 30 minutes. But why? You will repeat that audio more times. That's why I recommend 5-minute audios, 6-minute audios. If they are shorter, even better, 3-minute audios. Many people assume that they need to listen to really long audios to be able to improve their listening. Actually, it's the opposite. You need to work on short audios, like really short audios that will challenge you, okay? So short audios that will challenge you. That's the goal. And after you listen to this audio once, you need to work on your comprehension and test yourself. What did I understand? Okay, so what did I understand from this audio? What are the key points from this audio? What's the key message? And repeat. Do the same process again. Repeat. That's why this activity takes a little more time. You will be writing. You can even speak, record your voice, describing what you understood, describe what you listened. That's why this exercise takes a little bit more time, and you shouldn't do it all every day because it does get tiring. Okay, I have in my study routine, I watch a TV show, Friends, okay? And once a week, I study 4 times a week. This new language I'm studying. I study 4 times a week, and once a week, I work on the comprehension of the episode. So I watch it 4 times a week, and then at the end of the week, I write and I speak the main parts of the episode, what I understood from the episode, because I know that this exercise is longer. It requires me more time. Now, I'm not saying you have to watch a TV series to do that. No. As I said, short audios. I have a little bit more time, so I choose the Friends TV show. I like doing that, but this is personal. My recommendation for all my students, for everybody, is short audios. 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes, maximum 10 minutes, because you have to repeat, you have to listen again. So it's much more productive if you have very short audios that you can repeat and improve and work on your listening comprehension on that specific audio. Because remember, you will be studying vocabulary, you will be testing your comprehension by writing what you understood, by writing the main ideas, by describing orally what you have just listened to. Okay? So that's why. Okay. Very well, very well. Let's see. So, as I said, the exact amount of time, because many English, if you're watching this video for the first time, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video is helping you. Consider subscribing, because from Monday to Friday I post different kinds of lessons. And if you're already here, hey, as usual, smash that like button. But I don't want you to feel upset with me, because many people come to this kind of videos expecting a specific answer, a number. But the number will really depend on how much time you have available. So the exact amount of time will depend on how much time you have. So let's consider this. Let's suppose you study 3 times a week. You study English 3 times a week for 1 hour. Okay? After, you can do the math. So one case here, you study 3 times a week for 1 hour. Okay, so how much time do you dedicate? Well, from 15 to 20 minutes for your listening skills. Maybe when you do the comprehension exercise, you could take a little bit more time. You could take like 30 minutes. But then if you study 3 times, if you are going to work on comprehension and really sit down and study, then do this once a week if you study 3 times a week. You don't need to do this on the 3 days if you're working on the comprehension. On the other 2 days, you can work on pronunciation and intonation. So you need to divide your attention. So for example, I study my language, the new language that I'm studying, that I'm not going to talk about here, 4 times a week. So I have a routine. I don't practice my listening comprehension every day because it'll consume all my time, and I need to study other things. I need to practice reading. I need to study grammar. I need to practice speaking. I need to study reading and writing and exercises. So I need to divide my time. So if you study 3 times a week, once a week do the comprehension and vocabulary study. Remember, 20-30 minutes. It can be a little bit more. And for the other days, really practice a little bit of pronunciation and intonation, because many people ignore that. And that is really, really, really important. Okay? I see that you guys are like organizing a WhatsApp group. I'm showing the numbers, okay, guys? So, yo, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Alrighty. Very well. If you have questions, if you want a more detailed schedule for listening, let me know and I can create a video. But let me know in the comments, okay? And then I can create a video to give you a more detailed listening schedule. I would love to do that. I love giving recommendations to my students about study routine, listening schedules, writing schedules, reading schedules. So just let me know, okay? Other than that, my friends, my question is, how often do you practice your listening? And to complete this question, how do you practice your listening? What's your routine like? If possible, share your opinion here in the comments. I read the comments. I may not reply to all the comments, but they are very valuable. They're really valuable to me, because that gives me ideas on what I can do next. And you help the channel. You help this community grow. You are part of this community. And if you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to share that lesson with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, because that way you help this community grow. And not just that, you help other people. You become a teacher too, because you're sharing good information, okay? Other than that, my friends, thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow for another English lesson. Thank you. Bye-bye.